Passed on down from generation to generation. My dad taught me how to three-row. His dad taught him how to three-row. Same before with my great-grandfathers.
So tell me how many acres we're looking at. This looks huge.
If you're looking straight all the way to that tree line in the back, that's probably about 200 acres. Over the course of the last 5 years, we've lost close to 1,000 acres. This was my daddy's dream. This was his legacy. We were born and raised in this, so we kind of know what to do. We just need the right opportunities.
Black family farms are increasingly rare. Over the past 100 years, the number of Black-owned farms in America has dropped more than 95%. And that decline is in large part because of inequalities in farm loans. A majority of farmers need loans every year to buy expensive equipment, seeds, and fertilizers. The United States Department of Agriculture has a long track record of loaning less money to Black farmers, or denying them loans altogether, according to federal reports dating back to the 60s. Without the same access to funds, Black farmers struggle to keep up with their white competitors and are often forced out of business.
The whole system runs off of borrowing money and paying it back. We run a $2 million agricultural operation of sugarcane here. Say you go for $1 million loan. They'll drag you along for months at a time, and then 6 months later, well, look, we can give you $200,000. Well, how am I supposed to run $1 million farm with $200,000? Eventually, your farm is going to take a hit going down because you're not being released the amount of money that other farmers have access to.
Earlier this year, the Biden administration decided to do something about the decline in Black farmers. The COVID relief bill.
Fucking brosif. Of course, you're the one doing the harassment. And Tugga, I'm sorry you didn't get your emote. That's lame. And some people just lurk it. I thought that's what you could do.
Set aside $5 billion for farmers of color, and $4 billion of that is specifically for debt relief. So you're $600,000 in debt?
$600,000 in debt, and that debt is inherited debt. Jesus. That's when my father passed away. So when I got word that there's debt cancellation, it gave me hope. It gave me courage to go down to the banks. Look, I don't have that debt above me anymore.
That'd be cool if Biden
the
stuck with
USDA is in charge of
idea
implementing Biden's
eliminating student debt or whatever.
On a national level, the agency says it's committed to addressing its legacy of discriminatory practices. But farmers access government services at the local level, typically through offices called Farm Service Agencies, or FSAs. And farmers that we talked to said that discrimination in these offices often goes unchecked.
Joseph. Being a dumbass.
This is my dad, right here.
What?
This is my brother Rodney, and that's my oldest brother Edward.
You said both of your brothers are no longer farming.
No, he actually lost his home, USDA foreclosure.
4 generations ago, the Provost family farmed 5,000 acres of land. Today, they're left with 100.
I remember my loan officer telling me, you don't look like a farmer.
What the f?
Right? You need to start dressing more like a farmer.
What does that even mean?
You tell me what that means.
As Black farmers, we have to worry about win over.
Hear yourself. It's an intentional strat to remove small farmers and consolidate into multinational corporations. Absolutely.
We're going to get a crop loan, or if we're going to get a crop loan, how much is that crop loan going to be? Sugarcane, you need between $600 to $800 per acre. I was given sometimes less than $200 an acre to farm.
The Provost filed a civil rights complaint against their local FSA office back in 2017. A year later, they were unable to make payments on previous loans, and the bank foreclosed on their house. The USDA has never responded to their complaint.
Here is our home, which I built here so I can take care of my parents. And I can't express how traumatic it was to lose this home.
We have always referred to USDA as the last plantation.
Lloyd Wright worked for the USDA for nearly 40 years and spent most of his time investigating civil rights complaints.
We had a case where the farmers who had that disasters were allowed to get debt relief, and it turned out about the same number of farmers applied that were white and black, about 10 or so in each category. All 10 white farmers got relief, all 10 blacks were sent to foreclosure.
We have this well-documented history of discrimination by the USDA that kind of leads to motivation for this American
And people were, Crowder was upset about this, by the way. Because of course he was. But they're like, couldn't even imagine that there were black farmers or that they actually needed any extra help or anything like that. Not understanding it. Not understanding that, like, this isn't even extra help. It was the help that was never given to them, but given to others. And that's the annoying thing about it.
Rescue Act. What do you think about this program?
I think it's an excellent start for those who are still hanging on by their fingernails. And there are a lot of local officers who don't want this to happen. And there are a lot of USDA employees who don't want it to happen. So if they can figure out to delay it long enough, they'll figure out a way to stop it eventually.
How long does this type of program usually take when there's debt relief? Does it usually take a couple months?
What's up,
Well, it
Dixie?
depends on who it's
How are you
going
doing today?
If they were white farmers, they'd have it already. And if they're still playing with it after Memorial Day, I think blacks should be concerned.
Something we've been hearing from farmers is that there are so many people that are saying it's not fair, that they don't deserve it, that white farmers are in debt too.
Now that we're getting ready to do a few things for a few minorities,
fine?
the white farmers got an issue with it. So they only get
Good to
ants
hear.
in their pockets when they're giving crumbs to blacks who haven't had anything for 400 years. When they've gotten everything for all of these years.
How's your day been? Anything interesting?
If you're gonna farm in South
And
Louisiana,
his video is about the proposal to help black farmers and getting loans to help them and their small businesses out, which has been historically not allowed, been given to them, been given to black farmers. So this is a bit of a way to give back those that why are white farmers mentioned, because some people have brought up and complained with that, saying that black people or black farmers don't deserve any others because white farmers are by no means rich. No, not at all. But there's a lot of people in the voting base that think that black people should not be getting these, even though, as they mentioned, the last 10 people that applied for Walnut were white, got it, and the last 10 that didn't, that were black, applied to get these loans out from the government, didn't get them. And so it's not that these white farmers aren't poor, that there aren't white farmers that are poor, which a lot of these ones, though, are multinational companies now, so let's be real. But that's the thing, is that this has already been historically given to white farmers. That's the difference now, is that it just hasn't been given to black people. Not that they didn't get it.
I tell this to my son all the time. You have to be aggressive.
Ryan Dore is a sugarcane farmer in the same county as Eddie Lewis and the Provost family. He also sits on the local FSA county committee, where he advises FSA employees who are in charge of approving or denying farm loans. Can you talk about your initial reaction when you heard that there was going to be money allocated to disadvantaged farmers to clear their debt?
My initial reaction.
Exactly. No, agreed. The incentive is subsidization. The fact is that most of these white farmers were getting subsidization, but the black farmers were not. That's not the truth, though. That's part of what they were talking about, is in fact that they don't. 10 white farmers would get it with 10 black farmers being sent away. That's the issue.
Reaction still to this day as we talk is I'm against
These are a
it.
lot of the systemic issues that we talk
I guess,
about.
the side of
How black people have often been undermined throughout society. People that you might think that this current day farmers are treated better, but they are not. We have the data on that as well.
the story from the folks
This
that
story has
saying
been
that
covered
they've
pretty
been
highly because of this.
discriminated
That's why they
against
added as
when I
policy.
started farming.
Another reason, like what crops they go, why would you think that there would be? Redlining and things like this have systemically over a very long time affected how black people are able to get money. This was a big issue that was never officially dealt with or fully finished. Things like redlining and like this. Singular crop farmers get better subsidies. What do you mean by singular?
In 07, I went to the USDA. I went to the local bank, and I got loans. But my number one priority, whenever I harvested my crop, was to pay those two lenders back first.
Well, why aren't other farmers doing what you're doing? If it's not because of, any type of disadvantage or discrimination, what else were there?
Well, because
But a lot of these studies have seen that these are like the same people, just being white or black. Companies like McDonald's bully farmers into foreclosure by dictating their crops and prices. So that the farms are refactored and then they break contract. Yeah, I believe that. I'm gonna do this on the Discord.
Because they choose to spend their money on other things, okay? Their priorities might not be right.
Do you think that applies to these disadvantaged farmers, that they're just mismanaging their money and buying things?
By the way, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to run a 2-minute ad so that we have 31 minutes of no pre-rolls. You can see that there's a link at the bottom that I placed in chat that you can, by Nightbot, that you can get a ad blocker on if you'd wish. But just an FYI, in 10 minutes, I'll be running an ad.
I think the biggest is
I'm sure I can tell you that no farmer gets treated differently by the state when it comes to subsidies at the present day. With data, we know that's not true in the US. From an agrarian county, there is data that shows otherwise. They mentioned it here. This is why it's been a major, yes, it's been a major issue and a big driving force of the Biden administration. Access can't run a proper business, and that's the damn issue. Okay. Cool. That was a real interesting take you had there. You can come back later, or you can do a ban appeal, because you're kind of doing a bit of a self-report there. That was a little dumb. You kind of already went to the, it's either their culture or business. You really want to talk, you know, you can come to the Discord and go in the debate channel and make yourself look really dumb. And we can talk, but that type of stereotyping and this type of reductionism to culture or genetics, or not understanding why this culture is, which is socioeconomics, which you refused to understand, and very much easily blinding yourself for not, so you don't have to deal with it. It's pretty obvious. Anyways, hi, Anarcho-Gothist, how are you? Lenders are pursuing agricultural department to give them more money, saying quick repayouts will cut into profits. Biden administration efforts to provide $4 billion in debt relief to minority farmers and encountering stiff resistance from the banks. Hold on, I want to see. It's good to see you around. Oh boy. Hold on. Also, we're watching a source. You kind of need sources to back up your claims. Yeah. While I came back to the convo if this guy got banned. He's trying to see about getting in the Discord now, so this might be a conversation. Is that a fitting representation of conservatism? Reverse decades of discriminatory agriculture lending and subsidy policy that left black farmers at an economic disadvantage is racing to deploy $5 billion in aid. So, reverse decades of discriminatory agricultural lending and subsidy policies that left black farmers at an economic disadvantage. Hold on. I don't want to talk to this guy. So at the center of this initiative is the Agricultural Department. agency that has long been directed by black farmers in the United States, last plantation. Now the department is in the middle of a drastic overhaul. Hold on. I'm gonna see if this guy's gonna be getting in. We're gonna be chatting or not. The one that I just banned. Okay, well, if you're still watching, it's in the, oh, he just messaged me. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So, do understand, don't say any slurs or anything like that. You'll immediately get booted, okay?
Cool.
So, do you understand why I banned you in the first place?
I guess it's because I criticized the black farmers.
Right.
Like I said that they can't run a proper business. I mean, this is from personal experience.
Personal experience means nothing to me. Your personal
Okay.
experience means nothing. That's why I talk about
Sure.
data and things like this.
I mean, look, right? If we look at the data, a lot of the black farmers, they're poorly educated.
I
They
wonder why
don't
that is.
actually.
Why do you think that is?
They can't read and write.
Why do
I
you think
mean,
that is?
they can't run a proper business.
Okay, first
You have
off,
to be
that's
educated.
interesting. That's an interesting thought. Yeah, why do you think they might not be educated? Do you know what systemic socioeconomic issues are?
I mean, it's up to them.
How do you get a better education in America? Do you know?
You go to school. They chose not to.
No, that's not what it is.
Yeah, they
What?
chose
No.
not to.
No. Do you know how schools get paid?
Subsidies.
Okay,
Public
taxes,
subsidies.
right? Taxes. That's what
Sure.
a subsidy is, right? That's how schools are paid, right? That's how all government things are paid for.
No, not on the
Yes.
taxes. Not on the taxes. Our government runs on a lot of things other than taxes.
That is our main source of money, right? You understand, like GDP and production.
Our
That's how
main
things are.
source of money
Okay.
is trade.
Do you know where public schools are funded from?
The government.
The what?
The government.
Okay. Do you know more specifically? Because there's a very specific tax that it gets its money from per neighborhood.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Because it's based on the housing that you live in. And that tax money from the housing, from the neighborhoods, goes into
So
goes into public
why is this?
schooling.
Okay.
Do you know why this matters? Because less than 100 years ago, many of these areas were redlined and made to be poor and not given money. So if these areas are poor and worth less, but if they worth
here's
less,
what you said.
but if they worth
Here's what you
less,
said.
no, here, listen, I'm telling you what I said.
No, listen.
So, no,
Listen to me,
no.
okay?
Come on. So
Okay.
if they get less money, you know they provide a worse education, right?
Here's what you said to me. Okay? You said black farmers just aren't paid what they deserve to be paid.
Right.
They
And this
get
is
paid
what's called
exactly what they
systemic
deserve to be
issues.
paid.
This is what's called systemic issues.
The systemic issues are with the black people themselves. They have to
Okay.
educate themselves.
You know that's not how it works, right? You're coming from a very nice privileged position where you obviously don't understand much.
Privilege.
Listen, you really do.
I can bet.
This is
you're
privilege.
more
This is,
wealthy than me right now.
huh?
I can bet you're more wealthy than me.
I'm not talking about me, am I? I'm talking about you.
Yeah, but you're more
And
privileged than me.
I
You're
don't
poor and
mind saying I'm privileged. I am. I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big ass little pussy about it.
How
Like,
am
trust
I
me.
in a privileged position?
Because
How
you
am I
don't
in a privileged-
understand that there are people far less poor than you, because just the way that you talk, you are expressing it. You don't understand that there are people that
Maybe
are
they should
withheld
put the work
systemically.
into it.
Maybe you're a dumbass if that's what you think, because there have been things helping you amongst your life. These
Okay,
things,
with the
yes,
personal
listen,
insult.
listen,
With the
listen. No,
personal
this is not a
insult.
personal insult. This,
You called
get
me a
off your
dumbass.
no, I did not. Well, sure, yeah, because you are being one, because you're pushing away the decades of evidence that we have of this, and we know why these issues are happening. You know that, right?
Sick. I'm so sick of this bootlicking.
Dude, you're the one who's bootlicking.
The state should love.
Whoa, bro, you're gone. Get the fuck out of my chat. You don't say that on my chat again. Got it? Bye. All right, children. Did we learn how these idiots think? Yeah, no substance. Absolutely no substance. Had nothing to his argument. Left like a pussy. Sorry for my light misogyny or full misogyny. Yep, no, he showed his true colors already. Like, he didn't give a fuck. I told him no fucking slurs. Hate that shit. Thanks, Gothist. I knew I should have probably put it on like a delay. I hate when I hear that. Yeah, just get a better education. Seriously. Did you guys hear the full word? If so, I might nuke the VOD. Because that was obviously being said in a hateful way. I don't know. We talked about like whether or not to keep those or not. Because I know with the Hoff twins, like it was a different context, but I don't know if I should get rid of it or not. His accent makes it hard to understand. He, unfortunately, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I might nuke the VOD. It's fine. I can always like edit stuff up and put it up, but that's honestly, I should for that reason, like have a delay on if I ever have anybody come on, but it is what it is. All right, guys. I'm going to put it in chat one more time. I'm about to run a 2-minute ad. You can subscribe for $4.99 or use your Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account for an ad-free viewing experience. Also, you can click on that link down below and use the ad blocker that I have provided, okay? Within the next 30 seconds, I'm going to run 2 minutes worth of ads. Okay. Anyways. So that was fun. Anyways. Okay, running those 2 minutes worth of ads right now. So yeah. 20 forward. I just hate those. Like, it knew I had to devolve. Of course it did. I'm just on it now, too much in my mind. At the center of this initiative is the Agriculture Department. On Thursday, Biden's President Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack said that he would root out the vestiges of racism at his agency and redress the systemic discrimination that black farmers have faced. That's where not very good luck, have fun badge of him. True. Back to talking about farming without racists. Yes, true. Got this. I like your emote. That's cute. I'm in hypers. Won't allow outright racism and bad faith arguments. Clearly an echo chamber. Clearly. Yeah. There's no place in the USDA for discrimination. None. Mr. Vilsack, let me has the best emotes. Dope. No, I'll have to check them out. I don't think I've watched them before. The number of black-owned farms has declined rapidly over the past century to less than 40,000 today, from about 8 million in 1920. The result of industry consolidation, as well as onerous loan terms and high foreclosure rates. The Agriculture Department has faced sharp criticism from minority farmer groups for lacking diversity, ignoring complaints of bias in its programs. Reversing these trends represent a major test for Mr. Biden and Mr. Vilsack, whose nomination was met with skepticism from black farmers because many of those complaints went unaddressed when he was Agriculture Secretary during the Obama administration. He is now under pressure to fix the issue amid a racial reckoning that is underway in the U.S. So yeah, that's the context for this.
Bad business decisions and mismanagement of money.
So you don't think debt should be forgiven based off of race?
No. You know, I mean, why? You know, if it's good, then come and relieve my debt too.
Farm
they already
service
have been,
agencies are
like I
supposed
was
to help
saying.
farmers of color
This has
apply
already
for the
been.
debt relief program.
That's the first thing. It's like, but what about me? It's like, dude, the only reason why they're talking now and saying, what about us, is because they have been excluded. Now they're likely being taken care of again, and they're going, but what about me? It's really pathetic.
Answering questions and helping them fill out documents. And a national USDA rep told Vice that all FSA offices were given information about the rollout of the debt relief program in March.
I don't understand gender identity. Is everyone male or female, but then have a different gender? Joseph, we're actually going to be talking about that because I think we're going to go over a PragerU video that I'll probably have to be mostly debunking, talking about why women become men or whatever. That's something that we can definitely talk about. Gender itself is more the construct, right? As people often call it, more of like representations of femininity, right? Especially classic ones. What they call like trad wives, right? Like cooks at home, raises the kids, cleans the house, or also long hair, makeup certain way. But what we've determined with sex is that we're just like, basically, you can be a woman with a penis, or you can just be, you know, have a penis. You could be a woman or a man. What we've determined is that, yes, people with different genitals, obviously, or different chromosomes, develop differently. But that's also why we found out that there are different sexes as well, or different spectrums within different sexes, because it's not all based on DNA. It's not all based on all like phenotypical traits, right? So sex is a little bit more boxed in and has its own terms, but gender itself is, you know, again, just a prescribed either by yourself or someone else, is assumption of what your role in society is. Gender is social role, and gender norms are arbitrary restrictive. I love my long, luscious hair. Women's hair products smell better too, so I use them. Fuck yeah. I got long hair too. A man is whoever a man is. Based. True.
But when Lewis called his FSA in April, he got a different story.
Good afternoon, Farm Service Agents.
Hey, how you doing? I was calling to see, have they gave any updates about the COVID relief bill, the debt cancellation for minority farmers?
We don't have no information.
Man is an adult
When I
male.
called
You're not
down to the
wrong there,
FSA office,
Joseph.
there was no word of it. The only communication back was all the farmers, white farmers and everyone should be able to get their debt canceled, not just you guys.
We reached out several times to the FSA office that Lewis called.
Right. No, exactly as Taco said. A man is whoever identifies as such. Yeah, sex does not equal gender. There are specific categories for sex, but they're even making more now as our understanding of biology and chromosomes has expanded as well. You can't identify as a man if you are female. What do you mean? I mean, anyone can identify as a man or a female.
We even visited their office with no success.
And that's just the societal roles. Isn't male and man the same term? I mean, a male can be a man, but even then, like this, so I see what you're saying, like, especially with like sex being male or female. In the trans community, people say like AFAB, assigned female at birth, which is they were assigned being a female. At the end of the day, somebody with, it's a longer term to express somebody, but at the end of the day, somebody with a penis and testicles is just somebody with a penis and testicles. Somebody with a vagina is just somebody with a vagina, because their chromosomes don't necessarily need to be XX or XXY. Those can vary as well. So it's just people with genitals who identify a certain way. Yeah, what is female? Female is a person with XY. No, but that's not true. The reproductive system generally capable of housing and birthing a baby. No, because there's also people that are like XXY and these in between sections there as well. And so it's like, that's why they say assigned female at birth. Female or woman is in the end just a constriction of identity put on certain aspects about you. These in between sections are genetic mutations, but they are still people. And they're still part of sex. There's more so than just genetic mutations as well.
In a statement to Vice, the USDA said the agency
just because they exist and they're not the norm doesn't mean that they aren't normal. You know what I mean?
They need to apply for debt relief. Eventually, we spoke to the person in charge of that effort.
We have already had to intervene from the upper levels of administration in cases where local FSA employees were not promoting the American Rescue Plan in the right way. And when we find out about those situations that are exceptions from what I would call maybe rogue employees, we are equipped to deal with it.
Can you talk about what that accountability will actually look like tangibly?
We have some people that don't get the message. They'll have to be dealt with. And we are prepared to do that. Now,
but you aren't choosing their sex. You can't choose whether or not to be male or female. You can't choose whether or not to, if you're in between as well. And there's different people that like may not even have the same chromosomes, but still just have the male genitalia. Or women, as you said, and I do see that you worded it very specifically, but with a reproductive system generally capable, but as we know, that's part of it too. I'm just confused. I think it's pretty simple. So much of femininity is pushed onto you, right? Before in American culture, it used to be blue for women, pink for men as well as that they called all boys knave girls. You know, I want to understand gender identity, but it does not make sense to me. The fact is like we watched videos, I think before, of like, this is not new, or nor is it American or Western by any measure either. So many of these non-normal titles or ways of identifying are not completely new. What is exactly messing you up with your understanding?
Whether
Thanks,
that's
Gothist,
some kind of training,
for being
some kind of
helpful.
remediation, some kind of termination. I don't know what those options are, but the expectation is that our employees will treat all of our customers with fairness and dignity.
Where do you see black farming in 5 years, 10 years?
Also, FYI, I got this. McBroseph is one of our resident conservatives who's turning a new leaf. We all believe. Do you believe in gender and gender fluidity? Me? Yes. Before, I will say too, I used to look at it much more from the Ben Chabibo point of view, where I believed if your sex is female, you have a vagina and XX chromosomes making you a woman, but that's not the case. Not what most biologists or anthropologists would agree with you on. So no one can change their sex, yes? I mean, eventually, probably yes. Not right now. Not all females or women do. Yeah, no, I used to be a little bit more on the Ben Shabibo side of like, not as extreme as him. I wasn't that transphobic, but I was more of the like, oh, you can go buy whatever you want, whether if you're actually a woman or actually a man, it's like whatever to me. But then I slowly began to understand it more and try to understand it. And I think getting to know other trans people really helps with that as well. I think a big thing for me too was the understanding of like the prescription of things, like how things work in the market in capitalism. Like, this is what a girl is. I remember how I had an easy bake oven as a kid, and that was kind of considered girly back then, you know, like it was pink and purple. These are the prescriptions that we put on to woman or man, and that's what we're talking about. One claims to change their sex. We change our outward presentation of our gender to match our inner gender identity. Yes.
There will still be a handful of black farms, but small, medium-sized farms, I think we'll still lose them. And that I'm not convinced.
Yes, gender and sex are different. Yes, McBroseph.
Make the structural changes to save them.
So what do you think the larger solution is to this problem?
Well, I think you need to restructure FSA.
Again, that terminology, male or female, is actually not necessarily staying with the biological sense. Generally, in a doctor, if someone is gender fluid or something, they would be a man, or excuse me, a person with testicles and a penis, or a person with a vagina and breasts. Like, that definition is withheld to gender, not towards biology. Biology is just a specimen, a person with these organs or these identifiers that they cannot change.
Eliminate the county committees, and then you have to hold folk accountable.
By the way, guys, I mentioned it before. New YouTube video, new IGTV video up. Was us watching the VR Chat Kermit video about bullying. So go give that a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know, all that biz. Help me out, you know. Make us get seen more. That'd be dope.